What do you want? I'm in the middle of a podcast. Leave me alone.
This guy who really is, I think, a bad guy. Russell, I think you are a bad guy.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what the truth.
I don't want him knowing where I live.
You can hate Russell, but one thing you cannot take from Russell is his ability to play that game.
I ain't finished playing just yet.
Guys, joining us now on the line, the man himself, some might say the legend, Russell Hantz, fresh off his stint on Survivor Australia, Champions versus Contenders. Russell, welcome to all the Fixins.
What's happening? Welcome. Well, I'm welcomed.
Welcome.
Yeah, here I am.
I promised not to interrupt you while you were doing the podcast. But Russell, what the fuck happened? How did you get on Survivor Australia?
Yeah, we have so many questions before we even start talking about the actual show as to like, did they call you? Did you call them? Like, it was so, like, my patrons kept hitting me up being like, hey, Russell's on Survivor Australia. And I was like, no, he's not. That's ridiculous. Why would they randomly pick one American?
Right.
Like, I mean, you're the greatest of all time. However, I was like, what the fuck? How did they randomly? It was so odd to me. So we want to know all about that first.
Well, I did a podcast on Australian Survivor with a girl named Phoebe. And while we were doing it, I would say, you know, I would see their cinematography and stuff like that. It was just brilliant. If you've seen some of the commercials for this year's, you can see how they're just over the top, amazing production when it comes to getting people interested in the show. So I would just constantly compliment them on the show. And then all of a sudden, she gets back in touch with me and she's like, production wants to talk to you for some reason. And then I don't know what it is, but they wanted your information. Is it okay if I give it to them? I'm like, yeah, give it to them. So I thought, then I was talking with her. I was like, it has to be like some kind of gimmick to where I'm like some kind of reward or something. Like I just show up. Yeah,
right.
And I get that. That's okay. I show up in another country. I think Rupert did that once. And so I was like, that's interesting. I said, it can't be for me actually playing. That's impossible. It just can't be. So I call them up, and then they like, would you be interested in playing the game? And I'm like, whoa. It came at a crazy time because my daughter was pregnant, and she was, and
congratulations, by the way.
Well,
you're a grandfather.
Yes, that's crazy. Crazy. So I was thinking, I was like, well, I asked her, I was like, what do you think about it? Because there's so much I could lose from going in another country. So I was, could, just my reputation, different things of me, how I play the game. But I figured if I play hard, then nobody can really knock me. You can't knock me if I give it my all. And then
if you get to the end and you were a snooze fest, that would ruin your legacy. But, you know what I mean?
But get this, I'm really screwed anyway, because you get to the end. Let's say I win. I get to the end, I win, then Russell, he has to go to another country to win. Let's say I get to the win and don't win. Oh, Russell, he did it again. He gets all the way to the end, but he can't win the game. Let's say I go early like I did. Oh, Russell sucks again. So any one of them, I suck.
Right.
So
that's true. What an uplifting thing.
Yeah, you're kind of there's no winning for you with Survivor.
There's no winning, man.
We could talk about this more.
I can win and not win.
Exactly. That's the thing. This is the only game where you could actually win, Russell, and lose. But we'll get more to that, man. The psychology of all this in a minute. Right. So you talk to your daughter. You also do you have a fiance? I think we have to congratulate you for many things.
I'm not Brandon. Oh. I don't have a fiance.
Okay. Well, you have it appears you have a lady in your life. Okay.
Yes.
So you got a lot of stuff going on. You got people who you have to be good with to go away because we know Survivor going away is 7 weeks. They play 50 days in Australia, correct?
50 days, yes.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things that I thought was so intriguing, my biggest gripe about any time I have talked with Survivor or thought about going back is I can't fucking stand the fucking sequester situation.
Oh my God.
God help me if I'm Franny, and that's the reality. You have to look at your worst case scenario.
It's even
worse. Well, to me, I was like, but they let you go home, right?
Oh yeah, they let you go home, but I'm talking about while you're in the game, they blindfold you everywhere you go.
Ugh.
Oh, that's weird. No, they don't black out the vans. They actually blindfold each
No, they
individual person.
blindfold each person. Which, when you think about it, I could have a couple of things wouldn't have happened in Heroes versus Villains if everybody would have been blindfolded. Like votes were changed in the van before.
Yeah.
That's actually a kind of smart thing. It's just really creepy.
It's really
it's
creepy.
Budget. They couldn't.
It's like
afford,
super
they couldn't
rapey.
afford enough fabric to cover the windows, but they could afford little bandanas to put over your eyes. Rapey. Corinne, why does your mind always go to rape?
I don't know. You blindfold them so you can take them to a second location so you can rape and kill them.
Okay.
Right.
Why else do you blindfold
they
someone?
would blindfold you, and you get out you get out the van. You're still blindfolded, and then they walk you to the challenge. What? Listen, they blindfold you, but yes, they walk you to the challenge blindfolded, where you're stepping in puddles of water, and everybody's getting pissed because it's not like you have a dryer out there, but you do have a toilet. So
whoa.
We'll get to that in a second. Let's wind the story back because we're getting off topic.
Right.
I know. I'm getting so excited right now.
You get permission from your daughter. But here's another question. Did you have to get permission from CBS, SEG, anyone involved with American Survivor? Because the first question I had when I heard that you might be out there was, what does this mean for Russell's chances of playing American Survivor again?
Which is what everyone actually cares about.
CBS owns Channel 10, whatever channel it is that airs Australian Survivor. So I had to be approved by CBS before I played.
Okay.
So there you go, haters. I've been approved.
I was just going to say, there goes.
They knew. I see, because that was my big concern, was that this would then later on be used against you. They'd say, well, Russell broke the rules or Russell broke his contract. But you're telling us now your eligibility has not been impacted. No.
I mean, I got called. CBS had to. I was told directly that we have to get permission from CBS.
Okay.
With the EPs for Australian Survivor.
Wow. Well, that is relieving because, obviously everyone has been for a long time speculating about what future seasons have in store.
I've got called for several things other than that CBS shows actually did. Like, I got called to do that show, Candy Crush.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
why'd you say no? That's a quick paycheck, isn't it?
Really? I didn't want to go hanging around and
here's what I heard. Actually, I know this for a fact. The Fear Factor. There's a bunch of like Abby and Sierra, and I don't know if anyone else went on Fear Factor, but they got paid for 2 days work. Mm-hmm. Oh, Joe? No. What'd you say, Max?
Beast Mode Cowboy.
Cowboy.
Yeah, right. Cowboy. They got paid $20,000. Everyone, It was equity pay. Everyone got the same $20,000 for the 2 days. I would have fucking done that for $20,000.
Corinne, you would have rolled around in snakes
I didn't get that far for them to tell me how much they were going to pay me, but $20,000. I don't know if I would have done it.
Yeah. So okay, Russell. So you're talking to Australian Survivor. Is there any kind of negotiation about an appearance fee? Did you?
I didn't even. I was accepting it like it was a new path in my life. And
okay.
I was accepting it like, you know what? I can go out there and I could try to do things a little different when it comes to. I mean, they don't. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but they probably don't show my social. I was trying to get to know everyone, trying to be their friends, and that's how I wanted to do it this time. I was still going to play hard, but I was going to try to implement a little bit of the social aspect to it to see what that's all about, but
yeah.
I mean, I think you can be very charming, and I think, as someone who knows you outside the game, I think you have very good social skills. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a good strategy for you.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know how fast I want to get into this with the Australian thing, but it was hard for me to, as soon as I went out there, the production had these big things around. Nobody knew who people were. Some of them didn't know who I was because they were in the limelight and other things like professionals in other aspects of life that didn't have time to actually watch Survivor. So I knew that was a positive thing for me. So at first I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say who I am. I'm going to slowly work this to where it could be, it could work in my favor. I'm not just going to be like, hey, if nobody knows who I am, I'm sure not going to tell them. So,
Right. Of
so
course.
when they're micing us up for the first mic, they have these big, like, backstage pass badges on, big thick ones with all the pictures of all the contestants, and I have a buff around my neck.
Oops.
So I'm like, guys, like you don't throw me under the bus. Let me do that for myself. I don't need production. And then they say, now these are people that think they're somebody that I'm playing with. Then they tell I'm first in line walking to the first challenge, and they tell me, "Oh, Russell, get here, get behind this person here, because they'll know who you are." Now I'm next to some extremely popular people in the Australian community, Miss Universe,
Right.
Australian Universe, some rugby players that were extremely popular. Some old lady that won the Olympics when she was 15.
Right.
It's like, so I didn't understand why me. They're the popular ones. It's their country. So I get in the middle. I walk out there. As soon as they see us, everybody's like, "Oh my God, it is Russell!" And they start Russell, like freaking out. And then I'm like, "Oh, there it is. There I go." It's
now, Russell, did you know going in that the theme was going to be champions versus contenders?
Yes.
Did that factor at all into your thinking about how and why you were going into this season?
It did, and I knew that, and it factored in with me because I thought maybe I had a better shot because of, like I said, in their profession, they might be too busy to actually have watched Survivor. Yeah, they might have heard of my name, but they don't know details of my game. So that's what I was hoping for.
Now, did you have to go over there for casting or anything like that?
No.
Or did you just do it all on Skype and then show up in? Did you show up in Fiji or in Australia?
I flew. I didn't do anything. All I did was straight from Houston to Fiji, and then I started playing.
Wow! Holy shit!
Yeah,
that is a unique experience. That is very.
Wait, I would like to know how much notice did you get prior to? I was wondering if they were like.
No, they gave me a pretty good notice. They gave me like a 2-month notice.
Oh, that's fucking sweet.
So yeah,
I
knew for a while.
Not CBS like.
Okay, yeah. Russell. So you just explained that your hopes were you'd get there because you're on the Champions tribe. You're with people from sports and other sports, and then things that are, I guess, in Australia considered sports.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then like a lawyer and a physicist or something like that. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was the one person who recognized you Sam? Was he the guy, Sam, the astrophysicist? Was he the person?
I don't know, but I guess he knows who I am. Hearing everybody's comments, but I aligned with Sam right off the bat. So, and we were like, it was like when I align with you, when it's real to me, then it's real. Like we are going all the way in my mind. So. Yeah. I want to work with that person, and he's the one one of the ones I chose to work with early. So I'm working with Sam and Monica, then all of a sudden I'm like, relax, guys, I'll get the guys. And then I get the guys to start liking me, start talking with me, working with me. So I had it exactly where I wanted it until Sam jumped the shark. I knew when he did. It wasn't a surprise to me when I knew that he left.
So going back to that first day when they make the big reveal that you're a member of the Champions tribe, watching myself at home, even knowing, having been on the inside and being pretty fucking jaded about Survivor, I got a fucking chill when you came around the corner. Because
that's cool though. And that's a lot of comments that I'm getting from people saying, man, it brought me back to my childhood to where I seen you come back and, back to 2009 where me and my family used to watch it. And it was so, great seeing you walk back out there. And I like that aspect of it. And, I'm a survivor, man. That's what I do. I like to play the game. I know it is, I play it to my core. And that's why care. A lot of people that go to these parties, they play the game and then they can just forget about it. Just like that. Like I just went to a big party.
I'm not like that.
Yeah, I just went to a big party with some people that it hasn't even aired yet. And everybody was there. And I asked one guy, I was like, so none of y'all are mad at each other? Like everybody's okay with this? Because, I get it. When I played Heroes versus Villains, that everybody was jaded. That's because they take it serious. They're real players. And when you take it that serious, it's business. Yeah. So,
I found that there were a lot of people, because I gave a bitter jury speech or whatever, I say a lot of shit on Twitter. After my seasons, they were like, what a sore loser. I was like, if you're not a sore loser, you didn't fucking care in the first place.
That's right.
Like, you should be sore that you lost. You know what I mean? Like, I have the same attitude you do.
Oh yeah. I'm bitter about a lot of things that I played just now. I probably shouldn't have played. But if I'm a play, I was sitting there I know we'll get to this, but I was sitting there with that idol around my neck. And you know what I was thinking? I've never not went big in this game. The thing is, the difference between someone like me, that you go big, you go home. I could have easily went home early in season 19 by making a big move. I could have did the same thing and went home early in season 20 and by making a big move. So I'm like, I have to make a big move. I have to make this happen. I said on my podcast, I was talking about JT. Now, JT made a brilliant move, but it just didn't work for him. Just think of JT's, by giving me the idol, before we even merge, by sneaking me the idol. If that would have worked, that would have been a brilliant move. And I keep saying there's a fine line between the dumbest play in history and the most brilliant move in history.
You could just say that
so
about
true.
everything. I mean, everything in Corinne's life. Either it's the most brilliant scam, the most brilliant lie, or she's about to make the biggest fool of herself of all time.
You never know.
But so Russell, to me, like, I always look at like, okay, what if I had done, so let's say you used the idol and saved yourself and got voted out the next, whatever, the next tribe. Like, well, that looks even dumber. Like, you know what I mean? Like being a pussy and saving yourself. Like, I don't know. I'm in the camp of, I like your moves. I get it.
Well, and there were many moves, Corinne, and we'll get into all the moves, but I kind of want to take us slowly and methodically through Russell.
It's quite the interviewer.
5-6 days you were out there. I was doing my research.
5 days.
I've been studying the game tape. Okay.
I came second twice, and I lost second twice.
You've got perfect symmetry.
Hey, that has to mean for something if I ever play again.
So last time you played was, correct me if I'm wrong, 2009, 2010?
Yes, 2009.
Okay, a lot's changed since then, not only with Survivor, but with you. You're older, you have more experience. I know, it was 4 years since I played. My body has changed.
Oh, yes.
I'm not the spry spring chicken that I once was. Like, how did you prepare yourself to go out there mentally, physically? Did you study the Australian game? Did you talk to former players? Anything change about how you conditioned, about how you thought about things from a strategic or social standpoint?
Well, everything changed strategically when everybody blew me up and I was the big man on campus. I knew that everything changed right there strategically. But physically, all I did was, I would swim a lot. I started holding my breath a lot. It's just weird challenges that I was getting ready for.
Yep.
Like different puzzles.
Balance.
And I also did a little research on the people that's won the game. They've had 11 people that's won that game that's either won 0 more people has won that game that's won 0 or 1 challenges than anything else. Because when you don't win a challenge, then you're not a threat at all. The people that they go after, the people obviously that wins challenges. So I wasn't going out there to be an Aussie. I wasn't going out there to win challenges. I was going out there to stay in the middle of the pack and then try to strategically get my way through the game.
Yeah.
Did you approach it differently knowing that Australians are not Americans? And I know that you've said, you've gone on the record on your own podcast and saying that you felt like the Australians didn't give you a fair shake. Russell, I lived in Australia for a couple years, I lived there during like 2002, 2004. So your boy George Bush was president. It was during the Iraq War. And I definitely, I felt welcome there, I got the anti-American vibe.
Oh, man, this was worse because
there is a resentment toward Americans there. But
it was
did you anticipate that going in, that you would have a strike, maybe 2 strikes against you being an American?
No.
I wouldn't have known that. Yeah.
If you guys play in Survivor, if any one of them would have played and they're from Australia, our top 10 reason for getting rid of them would have never been, because you're from Australia. That just wouldn't have. That makes no sense to me.
No.
So when they started bringing things up politically, I'm like, look, I'm not running for office. I don't have nothing to do with none of that stuff. I just came here to play Survivor because it was the Trump thing. And because of Donald Trump being president, then I was part of that whole system. You know, I didn't have to say a word. Any one of us would have been part of that system if y'all would have played, because they just didn't like it. They didn't like me as an American. They even said at Tribal Council, Sam said, none of us like Americans anyway.
Jesus.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here, because I don't want to misrepresent my relationship to Australians. I love Australians. I think they are. Oh no, they are some of the most fun people.
Some of the guys out there, we were extremely. I just felt an extreme connection. Not all of them were acting like this. Just most of them.
But what I will say is, when you're out there at your first tribal council, the easiest way to pick someone to vote against, apart from someone being fucking up a challenge, is someone being different. Someone is older. Someone is country in your city. Someone's city in your country. Someone's gay and you're straight. Someone's black and you're white. The first vote almost always, which is why Asian women and black women get voted out first every time. It's whoever on the tribe isn't fitting in. And so being from a different, I mean, it's one thing like, hey, this guy's from Lafayette, Louisiana, and we're all from New York City. He doesn't fit in with us. But you're from another planet. Coming from Texas, coming from Louisiana, being down there with some Australians. So did you find, you said, and I know that you've mentioned like Matt Rogers, you bonded with him, Australian rugby legend. Anybody else that you felt like you could connect with, and anyone else who you just felt like from the start that there wasn't a chance that you would ever connect with?
Damien, at first he was, I could connect with him, and he's that kind of guy I definitely can hang out with and go have beers with. But he was trying to play the game in his mind. He was just playing it wrong. And I was like, Damien, no, because our first vote should have been Shane. And I was like, we need to vote this girl off. It's the best move for the team, for the tribe. So he was gunning for Jackie, was in my other alliance privately. Yeah. And then so I had 2 alliances gunning for each other, and Damien just didn't. Damien would still be there if he would have listened to me, but he didn't. As soon as I got voted off, I told the psychiatrist, I'm like, hey, get ready for Damon because he's next. And he was next.
Corinne, Damien is a Australian.
I know. I know he has no legs.
Yes.
Legless guy. I read his exit interview, and he does say that. He says, like, all over it, he's constantly referencing Russell.
Right. Yeah, he was definitely a potential ally for you. Let's talk about some of the other people on your tribe. And actually, Corinne's going to want to ask you about the tall guy on the other side.
I just care about the 7-footer. What's the deal?
When I hugged him, I was hugging his belly button.
That's Corinne's, like, you're making her wet, Russell.
I am obsessed with him. He's so hot. How good is his marriage? Because he references the wife in his cast
I didn't meet the guy that, I didn't meet him that much except for a couple of challenges, but he just seemed kind of bland to me. And we did that challenge to where you do, you joust on the thing. And I wanted to go against him because I'm like, look, I'm going to be hitting a dude at his ankles. What's he going to do? Stand on top of the head? Let me go against him. So, it would have been great TV if I had knocked this big ass off. But
everything you're saying is Corinne's sexual fantasy, like being slapped around by a really tall guy and then hugging his belly button.
I'm confused by the tattoo situation on his body, but
he just seemed really. He seemed like he wasn't aggressive at all. He didn't seem like he had an aggressive nature to him. So I don't know if you'd like him too much.
So Russell, let's start with your favorite, Matt Rogers. He's my favorite too. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy kick ass in challenge. I mean,
Dude, this dude is a monster. Like, I've never personally met someone that was that athletic, that talented. He would have beat James Clement on that mat. Like, this dude,
I was
he
But
would.
do you think that someone like that, who's like a standout star, I don't know how the season ends up, but would they take him on American Survivor? Like, is there going to be the reverse?
I don't
think so.
think so. No, they've always been very specific about not wanting to bring people who are non-American citizens. But Corinne, you've got to check out this guy, Matt Rogers. And Russell, if you haven't done this yet, go on YouTube and watch his highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have. And look,
I mean, it's him running like the ball 100 yards with 10 guys chasing him, and no one can catch him.
Look, when I first seen him, I was like, oh, he might be okay, but he's older. When I first seen him, I was like, there's no way he's going to beat this steroid buff dude. It's not going to happen. He dominates this dude, him in everything. I hope he goes pretty far so we can keep watching him in challenges.
Me too. He's like a Tom Westman where he has man strength, and they put him up against these like really buff gym guys who are, 24, 29, and this guy who's probably mid 40s. It's like his dominance is so total that it's just fun to watch. Now, you had another footballer or footy guy on there, Brian, who is kind of a goofball. You see him not playing dirty, but he definitely will. Oh
no, Brian's a good guy.
Trick in his bag.
Yeah, Brian's another good old boy, but Brian doesn't talk much. He's just going along with the game. He absolutely talks none, and he just goes with the game and what the guys wanted to do, and they all wanted to vote out Jackie, and my problem was I was trying to save Jackie, and she was. I should have, what you're supposed to do, I guess, is throw your alliance under the bus, but I've never done that in my game. I surely didn't want to start in Australia.
Talk a little bit about Jackie. Jackie, the poker player who had told everyone she was a professional Rubik's Cube puzzler.
I didn't know she was a poker player till it all aired. I thought she was a Rubik's Cube puzzler.
What drew you to her? Considering that she's telling everyone she does Rubik's Cubes for a living, and she's a woman in her mid to late 40s, not your typical alliance member.
No, I seen her play the game. I seen her talking to people, and I immediately thought, I don't want this girl against me because she's playing right now. So let me get somebody that can play with me because I don't want her gunning for me. If she was talking to a lot of people, and someone like that, I didn't want trying to get me out by talking to everybody. Hey, let's get him out, because they would easily listen to her. She's the one that told me. She was straight up with me. We sat down. She said, "Look, Russell, you're going home first because you're not Australian and you played the game before." I wish you would have, worded that different. Like I played the game before and I'm not Australian. That would have felt a little better, but okay. And Donald Trump is your president.
This is so crazy. That's such an element to the game that there's no precedent for that. I would have assumed you're a novelty.
Right. Well, I'm a novelty. That's what I told Monica. Use me as a novelty.
Totally. I wouldn't have thought.
Miss Universe.
I wouldn't have assumed any of that.
Yeah. And it's sad because we supposed to be able to go out there, play the game without any political affiliates, like Republican, Democrat, whatever, from another country. Let's just play the game and let's enjoy it and not have to talk about none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a constant subject of conversation out there. They just wanted to talk politics.
Oh, they would talk about how better Australian was in different aspects of life, like politics. Like they brought up the gun issue. They brought up, their coffee is much better than ours, stuff like that. So, and I didn't want to get into it. I did not get into it. You didn't see me once say, "Oh, make America great again." I was like, hell.
Right.
I was like, yeah, you're right. Screw that president. I was
that's definitely the right move.
Because I'm not like, I'm a Donald Trump fan and all this and that. I was just like, you right, guys. Your coffee's better. Your country's better. I was trying to just play the game with them.
Yeah, you're trying to
tell them what they wanted to hear.
Let's talk about some of the other people in the tribe. How about Moana? I feel like Moana and you did not get along.
She didn't like me from the get-go, and I knew it right off the bat. She didn't, and she's extremely quiet. I seen her talking to some of the guys, and actually the guys thought they had her wrapped down, and I knew they didn't. And I was like, "No, you don't have her." They said, "Oh yeah, man, we have her." "No, you don't." "Yes, we do." "No, we don't." Well, the one that's kept saying that we had her, he's sitting at home drinking his great coffee right now. So, so yeah,
it's hard to play. I mean, first of all, to play with all newbies, and if they're newbies with high self-confidence or they think they know what they're doing, and you're looking at it as someone who's played so many times, that's seen human interaction in those elements, and like you recognize those mistakes, and like you can't, like you're falling on deaf ears. Like no one.
Yeah, when you talk, that's it. High self-confidence. When you're playing with people like that, they're not going to listen to the person that's. If they would have listened to me, I would still be there. If they would have listened to me, everything would have worked out fine. But they have that self-confidence. They've been places. They're somebodies, and they don't want to listen to you because they know more than you. No, how you know more than us? We know this game.
So you've always, it seems, in the past, tried to take, well, not always, I'll say very often, you've tried to take people under your protection.
He's Captain Save-A-Ho.
Well,
he loves
Charlie,
he loves a
saving the
young, pretty girl that doesn't really know what she's doing.
The only reason,
you're at the bus stop, these beautiful girls come up from the Midwest. They need a father figure, a protector, someone to tell them what to do, who to vote for. And in exchange for their vote, you offer them that protection till the end of the game.
You see, now I did go to Monica, and everybody's like, "Oh, he goes to the pretty girl." I wasn't going to use that strategy until I seen that I can work with her. Then I started thinking, you know what? These people don't know the aspect of how I played. None of them know that I went with Parvati and then went with whatever her name was, Natalie.
Maybe my favorite part of this whole interview.
You know her, whatever her name was. So they don't know that. So I'm like, and I knew that Sam had something for Miss Universe. He was like all cuddled up with her. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna talk to them both. And then I tried to start my alliance right there with them two. Yeah. And then I knew that later on, I knew I was in trouble. I even told them to, hey, y'all go on your own. We still have our solid alliance. Let me talk to the guys because I'm going to start working in some other aspects so our alliance can be stronger. And then I did that.
Give you a few more names, Russell. Shane, the
worthless.
The older woman, the swimming legend.
Worthless in life too. She has a gold medal, right? At 16, I guess, 1972, Munich
Impressive.
Olympics. So,
I mean,
this is the crazy thing that nobody knows about her. Oh, I don't even know. But I'm like, well, how come you were only 16? You broke 2 or 3 world records at 16 and never swum again after that. It was like, why didn't you keep doing? Like, what happened? Are you that much of a quitter? Did you quit at 16 years old and that's it? You break all these records and then you're a legend and then you just quit? She's a quitter. What can you say?
I mean, that's very suspect only because to get to the point of an Olympic player, you have to train like since you're like 4 years old, like every hour you're not in school, you're training. Like, why would you just drop the mic after that? That's very bizarre, actually.
It didn't make sense to me, and it didn't there. I asked her once. She didn't want to get into it. So then I was like, okay, she must have started doing crack or something at the age of 16.
I mean, I was going to say,
I think it's crack.
They have the coach who
I think it's crack.
Fingered them?
The coach.
I was going to say he rides them really hard, Corinne, and like psychologically abuses them, and they want to be
fingered them.
Well, I would like to point out that I too played with an Olympian who was later stripped of her medals.
Okay.
What, the coach did something to them? It's always the coach's fault. It's always the coach's fault.
Okay.
The coach probably fingered her.
Apparently there was someone named Sharn on your season too.
The barrister.
Barrister, yes.
Yes.
That's not the coffee maker. That's from the courtroom.
Yeah, and she was professional, and I knew she was coming after me as well. she even came up to me once right before travel, and I drew a line in the sand. It was like,
whoa.
I already know. And then
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me how I knew that I needed to stir some shit up because nobody was playing the game and I was the easy out. That's why I showed the idol, because I needed my long-term game to start working for me. I didn't just want to, don't show anybody, then throw the idol out there, and then whoever I choose goes home, and then everybody's pissed. Then
Right.
So I don't even have one alliance after that, for sure. So I knew that if I went home, if I can stir some stuff up, and I took the risk of not playing it, you got to realize 12 people voted that day, and only 4 voted for me. The rest of them was voting with me, but wasn't voting the same person. There was 4 votes that were thrown out there, 4 names.
Something that struck me when I first started learning about Australian Survivor is that I played on 2 seasons. One, we had 10 and 10, and the other it was 9 and 9. And even that small difference of like one less person, it's when there's too many fucking people, there's too many ideas rolling around, and it's too hard to corral everyone that's in your alliance, and it's too hard to get to everyone. And I just thought to myself, like fuck, that is too many people on a fucking tribe. Like that's hard.
Yeah, 12 people. Russell, describe
it's too many.
What does that do? Because you're used to playing with 9 or 10 people. What does it do to have those extra 3-4 bodies there?
It's just more people for me that don't like me. So I have to convince more people. I mean, man, I had it. I was able to convince some people. I knew I needed more time. And they're like, well, why didn't you play the idol? Okay, let's say I do play the idol and I get 3 days or whatever more time. It would have been 3 days because they lost the next challenge. But let's say I do that. Well, I have to find another one. Let's say I do find another one. With target that puts, I just keep finding idols. I mean, that's like Ozzy that keeps winning. You're going to have to get him out sooner or later. So let's get Russell out now before he finds another idol. So I knew that I needed to keep that idol. I needed that idol to stay around my neck. And I knew I had a shot. If I didn't know I had a shot, I would have played it. I knew I had a strategic shot, so I didn't play it.
Sure.
Okay, Russell, so there's something that came up when you did your interview or your recap on your own show that to me was, I don't know if it's the smoking gun, the head scratcher. I know Corinne is going to freak out when she hears this. Mm-hmm. Corinne, Russell was not walked once.
Not walked once.
The entire time he was out there.
Not once.
What do you mean walked?
Like walked. I didn't do my interview once. Not once.
What the fuck? You didn't have any confessionals?
None. I did that all after the game.
He had many that were in the episodes, but they were all recorded after he was voted out. Now, Russell, we all know, you've talked about this on your own show. The confessional is, first of all, everyone goes in at least one confessional every day. If you're not going on a confessional, it's typically because you're being punished.
Right.
It's punitive because their confessional is your lifeline. That is what is your true source of information.
Right.
That's where you can work out ideas. That's where you read the cues. That's where you hear the questions that will set your mind going and hopefully give you that information.
I need that for sure. That's how I play.
And you probably, being a returning player especially, and you just in general being who you are, your game is built around that conversation, that one-on-one with the producer. How the hell do you play Survivor for 5 days without a single walk? You must have felt so lost out there.
I said one time, I was like, I ain't did one walk. I did one interview yet, because they don't call it going for a walk there.
Yeah, I was like, I never called it going for a walk, but
yeah, I never did one interview, and they said, "What, you upset about that?" Then I just shut up about it, because
that's so fucked. But so let me ask you.
Oh,
so
I was
then
pissed
the confessionals.
when they did talk to me. I said, "Why didn't y'all?" I'm hearing things that I needed to know while I was playing the game. Why didn't y'all? We didn't want to put a target on your back. They said. So I'm like, well, you screwed me. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Did
like,
everyone else on the Champions tribe get a confessional?
Hell yeah.
Or were they selected?
No, everybody did. I was the only one that didn't.
Jesus.
That is weird because that is essentially like an information blackout, and that's putting you at a significant disadvantage because you're the sort of player who's going to, if they say, Russell, how do you feel about Sam? You're the sort of player who's going to say, they wouldn't ask me that unless I needed to be thinking about Sam.
Exactly.
And without that question, I mean, it's not like you went into the tribal council completely lost, but you went in there at a deficit.
Right. I mean, if I would have known that, they would have been asking me questions about. That's a good point about Sam particularly, because he's probably saying all kind of things that he don't trust me in his interview, and then I'm saying that
Sure.
I want to work with him. Then I would have seen it. I would have seen it.
So,
but also, more for like,
this.
I was gonna say more for my ego. Hold on, sorry.
Sure.
More for my ego. The very idea, like I remember when I was playing with Cochran and Phillip, because Cochran is just apparently like the king at CBS and he's the best narrator of all time. He would get asked to go on confessionals like 4 times as much as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it would drive me insane because I'm like, I have something to say too. Like
Right.
you're spending too much time with him. Like, and so if I literally was never asked in 5 days, I think I would have had a meltdown.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know. I was
that's
just letting
for
them
my
do.
ego.
I was letting them do. It's not like American Survivor. Like, it's the only way I can explain that you guys get it. It's like having Jeff Probst being your producer with every producer out there in America. So they know what to say. They know how to play the game. And all the producers in American Survivor, they get things done without telling you a thing. Because they know how to veer things, how to work things.
Well, they're very polished. Yes.
Yes, very. And they over here in Australia, they didn't know how to do that. Like that wasn't the angle. They would just ask questions that were written down on a piece of paper that the EP told them to ask. They wasn't in control of anything, like they are in America. And even the host, the host, he has absolutely no control of nothing, even though he's a great guy.
It strikes me as a major failing on their part, if only from the perspective of wanting to make good TV. Because unless they're sadistic and they just invited you over there to fuck with you, to have you be voted out first,
Right.
so
That
that they
wouldn't
can
make any
say
sense.
Australia 1, Russell 0. I got to think that they go through the hassle of bringing you out there because they think you're going to make their show better.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're going to add gameplay. You're going to add international notoriety. You're going to raise, I mean, you've probably raised the interest. I didn't watch the last season of Australian Survivor. I watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the first season, but sure as fuck, I'm going to watch it if Russell is on. So you've got people around the world who are tuning in. They think they're protecting you by not walking you, but they're actually not only making it harder for you to play the game, but they're also spiting themselves. They're not creating good content because you're going to give good interviews in the moment. You're going to say the crazy shit that you always have said. You one thing, you love you or hate you, Russell, one thing that people cannot deny is you give good fucking confessionals.
Right. Yeah, they didn't do it, man.
What are they just sort of not good at this whole Survivor thing yet? Because I know people have said Australian Survivor is where it's at right now, that it's the best Survivor that there is.
They're good at what you just seen in the commercials and getting you excited. They're not good at that's why they're probably going to get canceled. They almost got canceled after they had a good season 2. They're so they're in a bind. So they bring me there to try to ramp things up so they can get get another season. And I just don't know if they're going to make it, because the way they do things, they try to be professional. Of course, they did not. People say they showed me where the idol was. Like you're just an idiot if you think that every time I play, somebody shows me where an idol is. Especially if you show me where it is, then why don't you tell me to play it? Just say it.
Right. What? Right.
Because if they would have said play the idol, 2 words, I would have played the idol.
Yeah. If you were, I have no doubt, if this took place in American Survivor, you would have played that idol.
I would have played the idol because I would have read them, and they would have
because
wanted
the producers
me to play
the producers would have wanted you to have played it, and they would have given you the little cues or bits of information that you needed to play.
On that, at the end of the day, for them, it's a business. It's a multi-million-dollar business. Even for the Australian, they have. It seemed like thousands of people that were working for them. So they employ so many people. It's a business. Then you have to somewhat. I don't want to cheat. I don't want them to cheat. But do a confessional with me. Let me do it myself. Let me figure this out myself. have time to figure anything out. It's like me playing poker, and I don't get to see any of the flops. I just see what's in my hand. I don't get to see anything else, and I have to bet at the end.
For the listeners, because we all played the game, the deal is that everybody you talk to all day long, you can't really trust, and you can't really say all the things on your mind, because you have to be watching yourself and guarded. So you depend on these confessionals to just hash your strategy out, to talk to another human that's not playing against you.
Right.
There's a certain dynamic in those interviews that allow you to kind of breathe, and you really can't do that in the game. It's just a special thing. It's like a treat when you get to go give talk to the producers and work through your ideas with somebody that's like, hopefully somewhat unbiased, or at least like it's a sounding board for you. And if you don't have that, like it's such a handicap to me.
And you also know they would have asked Russell. They would have asked him questions for every sort of eventuality. They would have said, Russell, if you go home with this idol on your neck tonight, will it be the worst move in Survivor history? They would have said something like that because they would have wanted that soundbite.
And they would have wanted me to think, wait a second. If you would have if you was a producer and you just asked me that question, then in my mind I'm thinking this is going to be the worst Survivor move in history, and they're telling me that right now.
Yes. So I don't want to, listen. I will say, to their credit, the episodes are beautifully shot. They're really compelling, and the fact that the episodes are longer, I thought I wouldn't like it at first. But you get to see camp life, and you get to see just like incidental moments of people getting to know each other. You get to see those packets where you see like so-and-so at home with their family or doing their job. And that's kind of like old school Survivor.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what Survivor
when it comes
was.
to that. But you can tell when it comes to the gameplay and how people are making moves that something's wrong on that aspect of it.
But Russell, now I'm going to ask you something. The gameplay. You watch American Survivor? Have you watched the last few seasons?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I watched Game Changers, but that was the last time I watched it.
Okay. So there are people who complain now that the emphasis has gone too much on big, spectacular, showy moves, the sort of theatrical moves that I think you were known for, but now are not necessarily made with strategic implications so much as because you are being encouraged and coached by the production to always be thinking of what will make the most exciting TV.
Yeah, how do I get more camera time?
I don't know if you guys got this talk before your season, but Jeff came out and essentially told us, if you don't play big, we are going to just leave you on the cutting room floor. So either play big or attach yourself to someone who's going to play big, but don't try to be conservative. Don't be safe. Don't be quiet. And we know that Jeff gets very angry when a safe, conservative, quiet player wins. For example, Survivor Samoa, or more recently, Survivor Korong when Michelle won. I'm not saying that in any of these instances the winners weren't deserving, but Jeff really doesn't like it when a quiet social gamer wins over a strategic player or a person with a big personality, a Russell or an Aubrey. So people have been saying, I think I've noticed, Corinne, maybe you've noticed, Survivor has changed. There's more idols, more twists, more emphasis on these big moves. I personally think it's in large part because they've been trying to chase the Russell effect ever since Samoa. They've been trying to create those moments artificially that, Russell, you created organically. But what's your take on the state of Survivor today, taking for granted that you haven't watched since Game Changers? What's your take on how the game has evolved or devolved since your first season?
I think it's more of a social media type Survivor these days, to where they care more about their hashtag than they do winning the game. And I think that that's bad for the show. I think that even how people get their feelings hurt these days easier. I think it's easier when they give them certain things. Like in Australia Survivor, you get an unlimited supply of rice and beans. You get 2 bottled waters every beginning of every challenge, after of every challenge. You get an apple a day. You get
Jesus.
You get a toilet with toilet paper.
That's so crazy. Why? Why? Why?
Like,
why do you need a
and
toilet?
then, you know what they told me? Because I was
things.
complaining. And they said, because, Russell, Survivor's changed. It's changing. And I'm like, it's part of another thing that's part of my gameplay is to have other people suffer in different ways.
Oh, of course.
And then, if you have Miss Universe shitting in the woods, that's not an easy thing to do when you're wiping your ass with a leaf. It's just not easy. And they're like, well, you want everybody to shit all over the place out here? Well, that's what they do in America. So,
I mean, I'm so with you on that. I one of the things, as Max would attest to, my strong suit would be starvation.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's called anorexia, but
but I mean, like, it doesn't bother me. And so, like, I have severe water, deprivation. Like, I'm really good with no water and no food. Like, I'm good. And so that's a strong suit for me. They're fucking giving people an apple a day and they're letting them have unlimited rice and beans, which, by the way, I'd like to point out on Ghost Island, that fucking island had unlimited rice. And I was pissed when I saw that. I don't think
that doesn't need to happen. And I think they need to go back to the old days where they didn't give, like 19 and 20 for me, seasons 19 and 20, we didn't get no rice, no beans, nothing. We got nothing. You should have to win what you get. And you shouldn't even be playing for rice and beans to day 10 or 15 to where you're actually starving. So it was the most comfortable situation I've ever been in. And I give credit to some of the champions because they built an amazing camp with two fireplaces. So
Jesus,
they had it all down. I mean, when it come to trying to build shelter, they did a great job with that. But then it's a perfect example of American Survivor. One challenge that we did, season 19, you had to choose between comfort and luxury. Luxury was, you had to choose between comfort and necessity. Well, comfort was like pillows and blankets and whatever. The necessity was a tarp, right? Just a plain tarp. And if you ever been out there in the rain, you know which one's more important.
You take the tarp.
You take the tarp.
Of course.
Well, in Australian Survivor, comfort is the pillows, 2 or 3 blankets, all kind of good stuff, hammock, and a tarp. I was like, whoa, you get everything. It's like you get everything right off the bat. You get everything. Yay.
So I've got this theory, and the theory is that the emphasis is no longer on survival. It's no longer on exotic locations. It's on gameplay and strategy. Gameplay and strategy are mental. Your mental facilities are at a higher level when you have a baseline of nutrition. I've not, Russell, we've got friends who've been out on recent seasons for American Survivor. I haven't heard anything about them getting an apple. There's definitely no toilets or anything like that. But there are now, I think, since we almost lost like half the cast in Cambodia, I think that they're given electrolyte packets. Right. So they're essentially given some powder to pour into their water.
That's okay. I understand. I get that, especially when people almost die. But you still have to make it tough. It has to be tough. That's that it's losing that most important aspect of the game. When people watched it, that's why they watched it. They didn't watch it for any other reason but they're going to send somebody on an island season 1 with nothing and they get the that's pretty cool. Let's see what they do. Now it's
I will tell you,
go ahead.
On my first season they gave us multivitamins. We had 1 multivitamin a day. I can't remember if we had them on the second season.
Yeah,
and that was that was like a big deal. Like you didn't miss your multivitamin, because that was kind of like your only guarantee you were getting anything. And then on my second season, I remember when Brandon spilled out our rice, we were all like panicked, and they replaced the rice. They didn't give us a lot. They gave us like a third, basically what was left that he had spilled out. It's not like they gave us a full new bag. Yeah. But I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they gave us more. We figured that was it. Because that's the mentality of our Survivor.
You see, it would have been better if they wouldn't have. Because Brandon freaked out. He poured out the rice. That's part of the game. He's part of the team at that point. So I don't agree with them giving more rice. I think that, hey, we just got screwed. It's part of this. It's part of Survivor. We just got screwed, and now what?
I can understand your POV on that because in life, outside of the game, when Brandon pours out the proverbial rice, the Hantz family does not get another bag of rice.
No, we do not. We do not get another bag. It's gone
forever.
Should
we talk about Brandon? Should we take a pause from all the Survivor complaining to talk about Brandon? Because, Russell, Brandon is back.
Brandon's back.
We're so excited.
And you were kind enough to tag us in the tweet. It was like Christmas and Hanukkah and our birthdays all in one. Where has he been? What's going on? Give us the update.
Brandon, he lives in his own side of the world, and I don't really know that much of what he does, but I do know that he's not, I guess he's, separated right now, so he's not married to the one that y'all thought was the one.
Right. Well, you've never heard, I never think he has found the one.
I think we could go back. We probably can go back. I wish Max had the sound bite right now to where you guys said she might be the one.
Listen, I believe in romance, man. I believe in love.
I thought
Brandon had found it.
I don't know if he'll ever find love.
So he's separated from the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he really loves Jesus, it would seem.
He loves Jesus. Oh, he does find love. He loves Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
He's doing little things on YouTube, and I guess he thinks if he sends them randomly to me, and sometimes he don't even send anything under it. Like, please post this. It's like, if he sends it to me, I'm just going to post it out there. But then he asks me, can you please post this for me? And I'm okay, well, if you want me to post it, I'll post it. You sure you want me to do that? Yep. Okay.
You're lucky he's not asking you like every 15 minutes because he is uploading content so regularly.
Oh, he has more content
up for the last year. No, Russell.
Russell.
He's 5 to 10 videos a week.
Oh,
easily
really?
More than that. More.
Well, I guess he stopped. I guess he stopped sending them to me then. Well, me, my brother have we're the GCs for Lowe's in Houston, a few of them.
Okay.
So we have a very good gig going on. And then Sean, his dad, has him dealing with the office personnel. I'm like, Sean.
Oh, boy.
I mean, if he didn't have tattoos on his face, that would be better. Because and because he goes into the customer's house and do this and that and has measurements and all that stuff. It's just, I love the kid, but he shouldn't have put tattoos on his face if he's going to get into this business.
We've heard a rumor that he's thinking about getting them removed. Is there any truth to that?
If you heard that, then that may be true. I don't know. I don't see why.
Well, it says on his Facebook that he said he's going to possibly remove the tattoos on request from his father. And
that's because
just
the gig we have. It's like, Brandon, you're going into the vice president of Lowe's, and then that we have Brandon across the table.
That's going to hurt.
If he didn't have tattoos on his face, it would be fine. Everything would be okay. But, you guys that's thinking about getting tattoos on your face, don't do it because you might get a good job with Lowe's, and then you can't do it no more.
There's very little.
It's a career-limiting move.
Those things happening to the young gay men who listen to our podcast, but it is good advice.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure we'll have occasion to talk more about Brandon, but another thing I wanted you to relay to Corinne, Russell, was your packing list, because
oh yes,
did you have 2 hats, 2 sweatshirts, 2 shirts?
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So this is what they do, Corinne. They call you and they say, okay, bring 5 items. And I'm like, what do you mean 5 items? Like, you should get 5 items. Like, what kind of items? Because I'm confused. Like anything.
Like my dignity, my courage.
Yes, I'm
my heart.
I'm gonna come with some courage. I promise you. So they said, no, you just got to bring things. I'm like a sweat coat? I said, well, send us the picture and we'll prove it. I'm like, so like you can bring insulated underwear.
Poncho?
I brought a poncho.
Wow. Oh my God.
One that I ordered, from a very cold place. So I was like, wherever that may be. So I was like, wait. So I ordered one. The only reason I actually brought it because it's not good TV if you see Russell walking around with a poncho, and
Right.
and it's just not. So
like a sombrero and a poncho.
So what I did with it was I gave it to Monica, I gave it to Damien, I gave it to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I was giving it to people and the other clothes that I have so they could stay warm at night.
Of course. You use it to endear them. Yeah, of course.
Right, so
well, I saw in the cast photos, I was like, why are people wearing clothing around their waist? Like several people with extra clothing in their cast photos. There were people holding sun visors and hats, and I was like, what the fuck? So that's what went out. So everyone got 5 items.
5 items. So you can bring a poncho, insulated underwear, shirt, and pants. That would be 3 items. Big old thick pair of socks. That's 4 items. And then just another jacket just for a pillow. So,
wow.
Nobody, it was weird to me walking out there and everyone looked like they were about to play Survivor. Because in American Survivor, you go out there as your profession. The lawyer dress up as a lawyer. They dress up.
Oh, I know. I was in a full business suit both my seasons.
Right. And I think that's cool. But nobody dressed up. Everybody dressed down but me. And I didn't get that either. I was like, this is a business. This is a business interview. What are y'all coming dressed like that for?
Right. It's branding.
It's like going to Lowe's. You
don't
want
it's branding. You're exactly right. Like, you want to be known, then wear something, spiffy.
Yeah.
Maybe some pink underwear.
Wait, hold up. So they had to be clothing items. Like, could you bring mascara or lipstick? Like,
maybe. But I don't think anybody would choose that, but yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, these people,
I didn't want to wear the fedora.
You didn't play with sugar.
I didn't want to wear the fedora. And they was insisting it, of course. Mm-hmm. So, they let me bring the fedora, and I got to bring another cap because I wanted to wear another cap. So they let me bring that. I had 2 pairs of big old wool socks. I had my poncho. I didn't know what to order. I was like, can I order, Chinese food? I mean, I didn't know what to bring because that's not part of my, preparing of the game.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said again, well, Survivor's changed. And I said, I don't think that they give them 5 items. I don't. She's like, yes, they do, Russell. I'm like, no, they don't. I know that they can't.
No, they don't.
No. But maybe Survivor's changed and that Survivor Australia is a different game. It's 50 days. It's 24 people. It's 500,000 Australian dollars. Russell, I want to go to some questions that we had from the ATF patrons.
Okay.
I'll start out with a question from the one and only Summer Reading. He wanted to know, did Phoebe give you any advice going into the game? Phoebe, your co-host from your Australian Survivor podcasting days, and Phoebe from Australian Survivor Season 1.
I talked to Phoebe before I went, and I would ask her, she said they're very loyal, and, that probably meant they're loyal to their country, which we're loyal to our country in America. I get that, so I'm okay with that, but I didn't know it would be like a reason that I would go home. So she would tell me, learn rugby, be able to talk to them about rugby, be able to talk to them about different things like that. So it wasn't that much of, stuff that I took to heart. I mean, it wasn't like a pregame alliance with me with someone else or something like that. So I didn't talk too much gameplay with other people outside the game because everything changes in the game so fast.
That was smart to have her. I wouldn't have. I mean, boy, I'd really suck at this. I wouldn't have even thought to do that, to like make yourself aware of their customs or their favorite sports, or to learn enough about them so that you can make conversation. I would have been like, I don't get it. Tell me more. How does rugby work? Like, I wouldn't have known to do that.
That works. You could sit by the guys and say, oh, because I was curious because I'm a big sports fan. So I asked about Matt Rogers. I was like, and he was right there. And I was talking to Damien, and he said, man, I love American football. I love Australian footy. And I said, so compare him to someone in America football that I would know. He said, Brett Favre. And I'm like, what?
Whoa!
He compared Matt Rogers and his sport and his popularity to Brett Favre over here in the U.S. That was pretty I don't know if that was just
I
because
should
he
take
was.
another-
I don't know if that was because he was standing right next to me, but the dude is talented.
Huh.
He's probably because he was
Leanne?
sitting next to me.
Russell, Leanne Voorhees wants to know, what was the situation after being voted out? Pre-jury trip? Did you come right home? Was there a Ponderosa?
Oh, that's a good question, actually, because as soon as I got voted, I was so pissed at the whole situation about not interviewing me, about all the American back talk. I had some American shorts that I was going to wear, and I should have put them on. Just the red, white, and blue. But I never got that opportunity because they was bashing America, so I wasn't going to just throw them on right there. So I'm like, when I got voted off, they supposed to interview you, and I was like, oh, you want to interview with me now? Nope. I tore the mic off, threw it down. I said, I'm out of here. Started walking down the street and in Fiji, and they're like, well, please, they tried to grab me. I'm like, don't fucking touch me. Just, don't touch me.
Wow.
It's okay. I'm just out of here. So walking down, and then the host, Jonathan's a cool guy. He comes out there. Oh man, everything's fine, and we start talking. He's like, obviously they have pregame meetings or whatever they do. So because he said, I told him in our meeting you was not playing that idol. So they was completely aware that I wasn't going to play it. So yeah, and then I go. The psychiatrist sitting in the van. And he is this guy was a psychiatrist for like Army vets after they get out, like after they've been shot at or shot or legs blown off or whatever. Like this is what he did. Now he's
real.
Like a real psychiatrist. Now I'm like, man, what are you asking me? I'm like, I'm fine, man. Nobody was shooting at me out there. I'm good. But they tried to get me to interview, and I didn't want to interview it. I said, listen, I understand the process. Take me home, get me some spaghetti, and then I'll do it tomorrow. I did my interview. I flew back to the U.S. the next day.
But I can't stop thinking about, like, if you offered me a show, no matter what it was, like, the biggest problem I have is the idea, your worst case scenario is you go home early and then you're stuck in Ponderosa or a pre-jury trip. Like,
oh my God.
That is nightmarish. And to me, the fact that they let you go home is awesome.
So did you have to, did you pre-negotiate that you were going home, or did you have to just throw
everybody goes home except if you make the jury, you all go home.
Oh.
So Damien's home right now. I said, look, this is how it's going to work. Damien's going to go next. They'll probably want to keep the team strong after that. I don't know what happens. I'm not even watching my season. I said Monica's going to go out after that. And then it's probably going to be somebody on the outside like Jackie. And then they're going to go after the guys because they ain't going. The girls are staying. And they asked me about an all-girl alliance in my interview after the game. Why would you ask me about an all-girl alliance? That's what I said. I said, why didn't you ask me this while I was in the game?
Right. Of course.
Could have been useful. Connor Rada says, did Russell go out there to win or just to make good TV? Coming in as such a big target, he must have known that this was a possibility. Russell, did you think you could win going out there?
Anybody that knows me knows that I'm playing to win. I didn't go out there. I make good TV regardless. So the winning part is what, to tell you the truth, I never played so hard in my entire life. Season 19, season 20, I was playing hard my first 5 days I was there. And I was people were changing their minds and saying, oh, maybe we can work with him. Maybe this will happen. But I knew I had to play the idol. And to prove that I knew that I was right is the second vote, everybody votes for me but Damon. So I knew that was the case. I knew I needed more time with them. But I went out there to play to win.
We talked about this earlier, but can you win Survivor, Russell?
I don't think I
can. And I don't mean
I don't think I can. Now, the only opportunity or shot that I would have to even play deep into the game is if I played with other people that's incredible threats, like Rob, like Sandra, like Richard Hatch, like people like that. That's incredible. Even Corinne, she's an incredible threat. If I play with
she's
people
a threat to small pets and children
and 7-foot dudes.
I agree with you. I agree. I know what you're saying.
I thought that I needed, that's the only way that I could play, I think. And that may not even work. But if everybody else is, hey, wow, I'm loyal to my alliance. I've never strayed from that in 4 seasons. I went home twice because I didn't throw my name off on my own alliance. And so work with me. And people like, and I don't know if I'd ever win the game if I get to the end. So why not work with me? And I will play the game so you don't have to worry about too much of stabbing people in the back because I'll do it. So work with me. So, I just want people to work with me. That's all. Just work with me.
I am very curious if they do any more seasons where they bring back, people who have played multiple times at this point, or there's a lot of rumors of what might become of the 40th season or any of the, I don't know. I mean, there's just a ton of buzz about that. And I just wonder, honestly, the saddest part is that all the people I would want to see play again are the people that were already on Heroes and Villains, or the people,
right.
I don't care about the more recent players. And so I don't really know how that would work.
That cast is
the more recent players are all kind of heroes.
But I think if you asked me, I would call you. I heard that they might do some sort of legend. I don't know. That's just the rumor out there. I'm sure you guys heard it too. But
I think
I would consider Corinne a legend. I might have started that rumor. I don't know.
Well, thank you. I don't consider myself one, but I do think.
Max, do you consider her a legend of the game? The girls.
I think Corinne is a legendary character.
Okay, but you need 10 girls. 10. Can you name 9?
It's hard to find girls.
Can you name 10 other girls that's more of a legendary character than Corinne?
No, but I can name 10 other women. That's what they like to be called these days.
Oh,
guys.
women. Okay.
Corinne, this is what a feminist looks like.
Oh, no, I like.
No, listen, I think Corinne is one of the iconic Survivor reality TV characters, one of the iconic,
right.
villainesses of reality TV history. The thing, though, that I think that Corinne faces going into this, well, Russell, are you tearing pieces of paper or eating cardboard?
No, nothing.
Russell,
Neither.
I think you and Corinne face the same set of challenges going into Survivor, which is you've pissed off the wrong people at one point or another. And those people, I don't know what it's like in Australian Survivor, but those people are the gods. When we talk about the Survivor gods, there's a pantheon, and they are real people. They have names like Jeff.
No, you see, people think that, but I disagree. I don't think that I pissed off Jeff ever. I don't think that Jeff thinks of me like that. If I think that I was told by a very credible source that they asked him would Russell ever play again, and he said it depends on what the season is. Now, people like Brandon, you see, that's the negative aspect.
Very different.
That's what happens with me when people think that, Willie, Brandon, and then Russell. Before they played, let's say they never even played. Let's say Brandon never was in existence, but I know it would be sad. Let's say that, and let's say that Willie never played. Then how would it be for me then? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the first time we all talked on our show and your show, I threw out there that you've kind of you've borne the sins of your family. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of blame for stuff that Brandon and or Willie, maybe even Brother Sean, have done on other shows.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to have to share your image with so many other Hantzes.
Yes. It's not a good thing for me. So
no,
I don't agree with people when they say, "Oh well, Jeff's mad at you. You'll never play again." I don't. I've talked to Jeff personally a lot of times, and I've never did anything specifically to him like that. I've always said I think Jeff's an amazing host. I mean, you can't do the things that I don't think this show would be near as popular without Jeff. And
of course, that's not up for debate.
Right.
No, he's great at his job for sure.
He is, and I'm sure, Russell, you appreciate it even more having seen Jonathan, who everyone has said is getting much better at his job.
He is.
Being presented with a facsimile of the original, I'm sure it makes you appreciate the original all that much more. But I do think, I don't know, I've seen Jeff become more vindictive. I've seen him.
But there's other people that he can be vindictive with besides me. I'm the easy out. Even for him when it comes to maybe a TV show. He did Regis and Michael, and he said that I'm the worst. I think that's easy out for him to say my name, and he understands that I understand it and I get it. I'm okay with being the big villain for him. So when it comes to playing again, man, I would bet. I am 95% positive that it won't be Jeff the reason I don't play again. If I don't play again. So who would it be? Would it be CBS? I just played for CBS, so I'm just saying.
Well, my feeling is this. If they were to try to do some sort of true series spanning all-stars, legends, whatever, and they didn't include you, Russell, it would seriously undermine the credibility of the season.
Well, it's be kind of like Game Changers.
Yeah, no shit.
But the thing is, I worry more than anything the way the show has been going lately, the way that the producers' fingerprints have been all over the outcomes, that you come back and they want you there, but they want you there to get comeuppance. That so much about Survivor since, say, my season has been about the good guy winning, the person who has the good story.
The Adam Klein, the Ben Dryburgen,
the veteran, the good old boy. And I'm not trying to diminish it all from Mike or Adam or Ben or any of these people, but you saw how angry Jeff got when Aubrey didn't win. And now we have a new jury system, and we have a new fire-making challenge at Final Four. The game has changed so much just since season 33 because the person who Jeff wanted to win didn't win.
Right.
And when we're playing, or when I'm not playing again, but if you or Corinne or anyone else we care about is going out there and playing again under those sorts of circumstances, if you don't have a white hat, if you're a villain, a Russell Hantz, a Corinne Kaplan, I don't feel great for your chances because I feel like you are going out there specifically to fail.
Right.
They're bringing you out to tell a story in which the bad guy loses and a good guy wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
That bums me out because Survivor started with the baddest bad guy of them all winning.
It sucks because, I do love the game. And, when I play wholeheartedly. That's the only way I can describe the way I play. And I take it serious. I take it personal. And, it sucks that it's going in the wrong direction, I think.
I so feel you on the, the people that are like Bob Crowley, who won my first season, was like, I'm just here to have a good time. This is so fun. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And I'm sitting there like, this is fucking business.
Yes. And
I'm not here to have a good time. No, it's not fun at all.
No, it's not. So it's like we were scrambling. We were scrambling, running around when we were going to tribal. And then one girl passed by me. I forgot who's the Olympian, the 5-medal Olympian girl. She passes by me and she's like, Russell, you're brutal. And then she just walks away. And then one girl passes and says, this is so much fun. And I'm like, what? I was not having fun. I was trying to stay in the game.
No, but those dimwits end up there on day 39. The ones that are just, just here for a good time. I don't care.
That sucks. But that's how it works.
Russell, I want to talk to you briefly about the reactions that you've been getting. I listened to a couple podcasts last week with former survivors on them, both of the ones I'm thinking of, good friends of the show, both of whom had negative things to say about you. Right. And I want to know, I know you're out there, you're listening. You're, contrary to popular belief, you're a human being. You've got a family, you've got kids, you've got a grandkid, a girlfriend, a life. Does it hurt still to have to face the backlash, or have you moved beyond it?
When it's fans, I get it. You can have your comment. When it's people that act like they're your friend in your face, and then they say things like people that actually supposed to know the situation and the game and the love of the game and all that, it gets a little aggravating to me. It was very strange for me to go to an island and be the one in the corner. You know, the one that everybody is almost, I literally, and people are, you know, my haters will laugh at this, but I felt like that I was constantly being bullied, like Russell Hantz. And it's like, and I got pissed off, and I wasn't going to allow that to happen. So that's why I found the idol, and that's why I started playing the game as hard as I was playing it. And I wasn't going to allow them to do that to me. And when you hear different things with different survivors, you know, you got some survivors that didn't even do well in the game that's saying how bad I did in the game. It's like, wait, didn't you play the game and you sucked? Why are you why are you jealous of me? Why are you constantly talking about me?
The other thing that drives me up a wall, not just with you, but anybody that does this, where they troll you because you have a lot of followers and they're trying to get, like, it's just them attempting to get more attention for themselves, and it's so fucking obvious, and it's just gross.
Yeah, and you know, the fans don't bother me. They can say what they want, but you know, my kids are 18. No, I'm
saying other players, not fans.
Yeah, other players.
Like other players that are just trolling you.
And that, I don't understand that part, because you know, we're supposed to be in the same family, and look, you can talk bad about me, but I've seen a few good things. The Dom guy, he's like, look, he played. You know, at least I'm playing the game. You know, you can't knock me for you know, doing my best. That was my best. And if you know, people say, oh, Russell, if that was his best, then he's just not good at the game anymore. Look, that was the best move. The best move in the game was that. It wasn't the best move to go the next day, obviously. If I could go back, of course I would use the idol, but I would have been, you know, maybe another week. That was my best move in my mind strategically to get to day 50.
Russell, what hurts more, when someone on one of these podcasts says you're a bad Survivor player, or when someone says you're a bad person?
Oh, God, that's a really good question. And it's crazy that that's a good question. Because the easy answer is that I'm a, you know, bad person, but it's
given the same question, I would be more hurt if someone said I was not a bad reality show character. That would be more hurtful to me.
I think that it is that for me, that I'm a bad Survivor player, because my family knows who I am as a person. You know, I know who I am as a person. My mom, my kids, they all know who I am as a person, and I'm okay with someone else saying I'm a bad person when the people that loves me and that I love know that who I am as a person. But when it comes to Survivor, you know, I just put so much into it. Sometimes it affects me, especially when it's other survivors. I get pissed sometimes, like to a point to where I will beat your ass, like for real. Like I'm not just talking. I'm not just behind the mic talking shit. I don't do that. Like I will grab a hold to you in real life and shake you. So
I remember years ago, I went into a house party right after my Token Cheens aired. I went with some of those players. We went to a house party, and Sugar was there at the house party, which I've never run into her ever. We don't run in the same social circles. Mm-hmm. When I got there, she threw a temper tantrum and locked herself in the bathroom, and she was hysterically crying. And she was like, you know, Corinne has to leave, get her out of here. So I went into the bathroom, and she was like, you have to apologize. I was like, I'm not apologizing. And she was wild. Like she was hysterical. And I was like, listen, I'll leave, but like, I'm going to take all the Token Cheens players I brought here with me, and we're just going to go to a different party. And that's not fun for anyone. So I said, you know, I think why you're crying. And she goes, you're a terrible person. America hates you. I said, I know, but I think why you're crying is because while America hates me, they don't know me. Everyone on our cast hates you, and it's because they know you. Whoa. And then she went fucking ape shit.
But she
threw her fist through the door.
That's a good point. That's what it's about.
Exactly
right
Yep, it's true. I mean, if you don't know me, I don't give a shit. I mean, it's meaningless. But for people who have played the game of Survivor, who have watched our gameplay, and then they say something like that would be more hurtful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell, I don't think you could watch any one of your seasons, including this brief stint on Australian Survivor, and not come away with the conclusion that you have put so much of yourself into this game. And just to think about what you went through going through Samoa and Heroes versus Villains back to back, the toll that took on your physical health, your mental well-being, your family, your relationship, your career, and everything that you've gone through since in order to give the game and all of the people who watch this show and all of the people who make this show everything that you have.
Right. And look,
it's hard not to be appreciative of that.
I'll tell you a moment. When I, Australian Survivor, when I found the idol, you see me walk off, but it was an extremely, even for me, an emotional moment because it brought back everything. I was like, I'm going to get a chance to play this game again, and I'm going to get a chance to do it right. So, and then the cameras stopped following me.
I know this feeling very well.
If they would have followed me, then they would have got, I didn't want them to follow me because I didn't want nobody to see me back in, the real Russell that my kids know back in that moment. So,
you okay, man? It was a powerful moment.
Yeah,
I understand.
That's why I got chills when I saw you come out at first, Russell, because there are people who go out on Survivor, maybe they make some funny jokes, people who go out and win some challenges, and then there are some people who give every ounce of their existence to the game. And you're in that rare category.
Yeah.
And
he has heart.
You have heart.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, I give it my all. What upsets me is that I feel like I let so many people down too. So that hurts too.
Well, you didn't let us down. I mean, we really wanted to do this interview because we knew there was so much more to this and there's so much more to you. And like, for anyone that doesn't know this, Max and I are friends with Russell. We very much enjoy Russell, and it's very few people I think that you let in and that you really let people get to know you. Right. And I just felt like it was our duty to kind of go to bat and let you tell your story.
Yeah, because, I didn't do any media. I didn't want to do any media. And, I wanted to do, this is my first interview besides my own podcast. I just wanted to be able to talk with people that understand what's happening, what happened, and, who I am as a person. I wanted that opportunity to be able to talk to people. Because, I'm not doing media because I think I'm, bigger than the rest, or, I think I'm some hot shot. I'm not doing it because I don't want to hear from people that don't understand, that can't comprehend everything that I'm saying. Like if you can comprehend it and understand it, then hey, then we can talk. But if you're going to just bash me and not understand, a second string quarterback sitting on the couch.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just throwing salt on a wound. There's no reason to put yourself through that if you don't have to.
Yeah, and it's not like that I need that. I don't need that. So, I keep saying, I just went out there and I gave it my all, and that's that was my goal, was to fight and not to play. And you didn't see me hide machetes, and yes, I even had a fake ring that was my fake wife's, that I can swear on. I didn't even want to swear. I wasn't going to swear on my kids. I wasn't going to swear on none of that. I wanted to be able to still do that and have, things I can do it with, still be that crazy player, but not that do something that would hurt me outside the game like everything has. I mean, I've lost a lot because of Survivor. I lost my business. I lost my wife. And all of it's my fault. I'm not blaming Survivor. It's just I wanted another shot to be able to prove to my kids and my family that I can do this and come out on the other end still the person that they know, not some crazy person named King Russell that stays in character. I wanted to still show them that I can do this and I can come back and not still be daddy.
One last question, Russell. Considering everything that you've just said, considering everything that you've lost, everything that you've gained since 2009 when you first appeared on Survivor, would you do it all again? If you had the chance to be there, on the tarmac, about to get on that plane to Samoa in 2009, knowing what laid ahead, would you still do it?
Well, I asked myself that question. And the thing is, wisdom comes from dark places. And I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I wouldn't be the father I am, the boyfriend I am, if I wouldn't have been cut that deep back then. Now, if you don't learn from your mistakes in life and you just keep making the same mistake, then you're going to probably turn out to be a bad person. If you can learn from them mistakes and you can grow from it, then you don't want to change what happened to you because what happened to you made you a better person, made you the person you are today. So I can easily say that I would do it all over again because I'm a better person now because of it.
And I also feel like most people in life, when they struggle or when things happen to them and they're going through things that they would like to take back or they're learning from, it's not fucking televised. Right. So it's different, for someone like you. It's just, it's on such a grand scale. And I think it takes a truly courageous person to say, like, you know what? Yeah, I've done some shit. And I'm like the fact that you even went on Australian Survivor, like, first of all, the idea that you got on it, like, to me, that's so impressive. And the fact that you were willing to put yourself out there knowing that this could happen or that something even worse could happen, like, fuck, like, that is real courage. It's really brave. Right. Yeah.
Well, I knew you're not doing it to get rich. I love it. You're not doing it to get famous. You're doing it because you have to.
Yeah. I thought that I had to. And then I knew that the risk I was taking, I could very easily be, if Jeff makes any decision, it would be no, because he played Australian Survivor. It wouldn't be anything other than that. So I think that I took a huge risk because I wanted to play again. I wanted to play one more time. Mm-hmm. So, I thought it was a good opportunity for me. It was a wrong decision. If I could go back, I would not play. So this is the only time that I've ever said that. So there you go with that.
I mean, I think if you give it more time, you might not feel the same way. It's kind of fresh.
Right.
I feel like it's so cool. It's like, there's plenty of motherfuckers out there have played Survivor multiple times. And to me, like, after you've played it twice, I'm not saying this because I'm someone who's played it twice. I literally don't think it's a diminishing returns. But you got to play in a totally different game. You're the first ever American to have done that. Like, you experienced a different host, whether that was good or bad. That is so fucking cool. It's just, it's different. Like, it's such a trailblazing thing. And I'm so happy that it happened. Yeah. That you were the guy that did it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think when you get some distance from this, you are going to feel like, nah, fuck it. Like, I went out there,
right.
I think it's great. I'm really happy for you.
Big risk. Anyone who goes on Survivor takes a big risk.
Yes.
You took an even bigger one going to a different continent.
Right.
And as a viewer, even though it only lasted 2 episodes, I'm grateful you did it.
Right. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I got 2-3 hours of watching Survivor and feeling like it was the old days out of it. And maybe I'll stick with the season. Maybe I won't, but I haven't watched a season since probably halfway through Heroes, Hustlers, Harleys.
Right. Well, you see,
I've been pretty sour on the whole thing for a while. But like I said, Russell, seeing you back out there reminded me of why I liked this thing in the first place.
You see, and that's the part that I love about it, and that's why I keep doing it, because the fans that I bring them back to the good times and of Survivor. It excites me, but on the bad end, it was so hurtful reading tons of comments.
Yeah.
We want you to do well. We want you to. I can't wait. Like thousands of comments, and knowing that I was going to go early. So I was like, man, I'm gonna let these people down. I feel like I let production down. That's the hurtful part of it's part of the whole thing for me. So when I do well, then yes, I'm excited. The fans are excited, but when I suck, then it's like, well, everybody thinks I suck.
Well,
Don't beat
you're
yourself
carrying
up too much. You're facing much stronger expectations than pretty much anyone else who's going back out there, and you're playing with a lot of challenges based on your reputation, based on, in this case,
your nationality.
Right. My president.
Russell. Yeah, and your president. Not my president. I want to go on record. Your president.
But you're carrying a lot on your back here, so
Russell,
give yourself a break.
Right.
Give us the lowdown before we sign off. What's going on with the Russell Hantz Show? Are you going to be back? What are you going to be podcasting?
We're
Where
back.
can people find everything out?
We're back. So we're going to obviously talk reality TV, some Big Brother, some. You guys don't talk too much reality TV, do you?
Yeah, unless somebody gets caught sending dick pics or something like that.
Yeah, we cover the good stuff.
Right. Yeah, that is good stuff.
We cover Brandon Hantz almost every episode when he's
like a whole segment on Brandon, but
just anything that's going on. We cover just about anything. It doesn't really matter what it is, and we're back and just gonna try to get going 2-3 episodes a week and see where it goes. I like talking
a lot.
Yeah, maybe one episode a week. I don't know.
Maybe once a month, or
right. And we do a annual fantasy football for the patrons, and of course I didn't cheat, but I won the first one only because that's the game that I can win, fantasy football. Yeah. So come to the page and play me. You get to play Russell. Shoot, why not?
That's very cool.
And Russell, everything is back on track after the hurricane. I know that you were hard hit. I know that out there in Houston, you guys took it the hardest. Is everything back?
Oh, well, we're still renting. So I just haven't went out looking right now. But right now I'm renting a house. Of course, I have a new grandchild, so I got to make sure everything's right for her. And so right now we got this gig with Lowe's, so we're real busy with that. Me and my brother and Brandon.
That's awesome.
Right.
I mean,
we're glad to hear that everyone is doing okay. Everyone is doing okay. Brandon is doing sort of okay.
Yeah,
I think he's doing better.
Live.
He was very upset for a while because of the whole breakup. But he seems like he's doing y'all watching the stuff, right? It seems like he's positive.
Listen.
Yes.
Don't give up. I think that was one of the messages.
Jesus is a powerful drug. Jesus makes people feel good.
Right.
We love you, Russell.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Russell, thank you so much.
Next time we're going to have to talk about Fishback next time.
Oh, okay. Guys, make sure you check out the Russell Hantz Show anywhere where podcasts are available. Check out Russell on Twitter. That's at Russell Hantz. Tune into all his great podcasts. He does Bachelor sometimes, Corinne, with Brandon. They do Big Brother stuff over there. If there's a show, Russell covers it. It's always entertaining.
And, feel free to stop watching Australian Survivor because Russell's not on it anymore. And we want the ratings to reflect that. So stop downloading it now, guys. We're done.
Done. It's over.
All right, Russell. Take care, buddy.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Love you, buddy.
Love you, too. Become a patron and get more content and bonus episodes, including video commentary of every episode of Survivor Samoa, weekly episodes of Whining with Wine, and you can become a patron for as low as $5. $5 gets you Russell's Alliance, $10 and you become a game changer, $25 and you're a legend. Go to patreon.com/Russell Hantz.